Hello, A's faithful. Welcome to the Habit Hunters A's podcast and the House Always Wins podcast network. Do A's Media and me a huge favor and make a habit of taking a moment and clicking like and subscribe, like everybody says. Keeps a massive amount of A's content in the algorithm. There are a lot of shows in that network. I'm Tim Burns. You can call me Hobbs. I'm a sports writer covering the athletics for the awesome guys at Mid-Valley Sports out of Los Angeles, where I cover the amazing A's as well as the entire NFL desk. You can also find me at Sacktown A's Fans for Life on X and the Habit Hunter podcast. Habit Hunter is a show that reviews the week's games, analyze trends, tendencies, good and bad. If you're a baseball guy like me, you know when someone's locked in and you know when someone can't hit a slider to save their life. We will cover what players are trending up or down. We'll analyze moves management and ownership make. As A's fans, we've been shell-shocked by ownership the last few years. And come on, man, we just have a little bit of distrust in them. We look at ownership through a narrow lens, and it is justified for us to be a bit put off. But the stadium is rising. Ownership has spent some serious cash on our core young stars. The House Always Wins podcast network is here to rebuild the fan base, and I hope you will check out the entire list of amazing shows. With that, let's get cracking. And come on, guys. Who isn't stoked seeing the results of this offense? 26 home runs in a week. 8 in the split squad Friday alone. Shea, he had 3 in a game, and he led all of baseball with 5 this week. Kurtz, he hit 3 this week. Look at my notes. Look at these. That's everybody that got a home run this week. Insane amount of power this year. Michael Stefanic, he went insane. 13 for 17. That's 765 for those of you trying to grab the calculator. We're going to talk about him later because he's a bubble guy for sure. He might catch a roster spot. He might just catch one. Tommy White, he had 11 RBIs this week, 7 in a game. He leads spring baseball with 15, and he's batting almost 450 for all of spring. His 15 hits is 6th in all of baseball, and this guy might not even make the team. He's another bubble dude, and we'll go over that during the breakdown. Matter of fact, 5 different athletics have more than 10 spring runs driven in, and that's a lot to cover today. So, We'll pop right into it. The A's entered the week 6-10. And remember, they swept the Dodgers and the Angels a week ago today. They came in batting 267 as a group, and we were scoring a little over 5.1 a game, and we were giving up almost 6. This week, we killed it. We absolutely killed it. Team went 5-3, and we absolutely slapped the ball silly. Run production skyrocketed to nearly 10 runs a game. And, you're going to see me smile a lot as we go over this. A's are averaging 6.7 runs a game, and they lead Major League Baseball in that category. The A's have had at least one base runner in 84% of the innings this week. That's a great stat to show. It just shows how dominant we were at the plate. 84% of the innings this week, we had somebody out there running the pass. Going further, 55% of those innings this week had 2 or more runners. So the foot traffic created 10 runs a game. That's outstanding. It's hard to lose, but we did go 5-3, and there's definitely a reason why. While the pitching staff, had a near masterpiece on the mound earlier this week, the team ERA is 6.7. A's arms had 2 or more base runners in half of this week's innings. So you see the dilemma we have, right? We're getting worse on the mound. We're getting better at the plate. We're getting worse on the mound. Huge bats have to outdo crappy arms. And I'll show you what I mean at the end of the breakdown when we go over the game that happened today, Sunday. We started the week, the breakdown. We started the week with a 9-7 win over the Reds. Now, you're going to get a 9-7 score, basically when both teams have base runners every inning. Remember last week we allowed base runners over 80% of the time, which is awful. But A's pitchers allowed traffic all 9 innings this game. That's alarming. That's a full-blown habit. You're going from 80% to all 9 innings. That's the exact kind of habit and trend that this show is looking out for. This week we improved, if you can call it that, as we've had only 73% of the innings. We're going to have shootouts this season. You can see it coming. I mean, just going through the innings, you can just see the momentum, negative and positive, coming out. Starting for the A's was Jack Perkins, who won his third start of the spring to go 2-1, but he struggled again. Now, just a note, he pitched today, and so we're going to discuss him a little bit later again. But issues. He won issues. 5 of the first 6 batters reached base, and he's begun to develop a pretty bad habit of getting behind in the count. That's a big issue for him because batters hit 500 last year when he was behind 2-0 or 3-0. Perkins reached 2-0 5 times out of the 15 batters he faced. So one third of the batters, he's way behind. He hit 3-0 twice as well. He walked 3 hitters, so he's playing catch up for most of his outing. He gave up a homer. He gave up a hit batter. He gave up 3 singles. So in 2 2/3 innings, 8 of 15 batters reach base one way or another. Let's face it, if over half your batters reach base, you're not going to have a lot of success. And we did see J.J. Bleday for Cincinnati. He's the one who got the home run off of him. It's kind of nice to see him succeeding. I just wish he would have been a bit more consistent for us in green and gold. Moving on, I have a Kotsay Leisure Day alert. I felt a couple times during this game a mound visit could have benefited pitchers. And maybe after giving up 2 runs with only 4 batters in, a mound visit for Perkins may have reduced the amount of traffic that he saw later. This is the way I look at it. Teams get 4 mound visits to go up and say hi. Kotsay needs to use some of those with these youngsters. These guys are really understanding of the metrics of today. And, with those stat-driven, metrics, just one little mistake, leaving them out there a little too long, things like that can really, really hurt somebody. This time it was reliever Domingo Robles. He was the victim. The guy goes in, 4-pitch walk, first pitch single, hits the next batter. And you might think, mound visit, settle this kid down. Haven't used any. Nothing. Result predictable. RBI sacrifice fly, 3-run home run. And so what has he got now? ERA north of 19. And, that's just another one of those relievers in that bottomless hole where the ERA never gets recovered. And you can just look at last season and see all those 6, 7, 8, 9s on the ERA. It's from those being left in just a bit too long. We might start tracking mound visits. We can keep track of the times Kotsay should have gone out, but maybe chose not to. In that, I mean him or pitching coach Scott Emerson. This is the way I look at it. If someone goes single, home run, single, walk to start a game, maybe go hit the mound, and say, hey, don't worry about it. Suck it up, man. Start over. Start all fresh. The good news in this game, A's hitters came to play. Well, you're going to hear me say that a lot. The Athletics had base runners every inning, as I mentioned, just like the Reds. And the A's sent 8 batters to the plate in the first and had a nice 4-0 lead. They batted around in the 7th. And what I found really impressive about that was that nobody in the inning has a spot secured on the team. And most of them aren't even going to be around in 2 weeks. To me, it kind of shows us the strength of the farm system and the talent pool that's going to be coming up in the next few years. In the next few years, imagine all these kids, they're batting around all by themselves. They don't have Rooker in the middle. They don't have Kurtz at the beginning and Sodi in the middle. It's just, Tommy White and, Ibanez and these guys. And, most of these guys are going to be gone in a week. But in the next couple of years, and they hit Vegas, those guys are going to be our superstars. And they've already got that in their system. I love it. They turned a double steal in the 7th as well. So they batted around and they turned a double steal. And none of these guys will probably be around in 2 weeks. And that's a big thing, a double steal for us, because we don't see a lot of stolen bases. But I did like Kotsay stealing in the 9th to try to extend the lead. 3 stolen bases in the game. Steal attempts are rising for the A's of late. Kotsay has no qualms about running in the 9th, man. I love that. And that's not like him. He did that with Vries a week ago. Vries got 2 stolen bases in the 9th. Speaking of him, he showed his age a little bit. Because think about that. He started the week. The night before, he jacked 2 home runs against the Dodgers, the defending champions. So, he's a little jacked up. I think he had a 3-pitch K, and he basically swung out his ass. He went 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, but let's face it, right now he's hitting over 400 at 409. He looks like a guy trying to stay out of the minors, and we'll definitely talk more about him. We saw Zach Geloff. Thank you. Hoping this guy has a great year. He struggled. He led the American League in strikeouts. He had injuries. He started this game. He went 2 for 4 with an RBI. He batted .357 this week. Not bad. Second baseman Jeff McNeil. I tell you, I wish they would start this dude. I'm telling you, he went 3 for 3, home run, and I'm wondering what he would be like at leadoff. The dude has a batting title. He batted over .310 4 times. He's had over 80 runs in a season. He's had over 64 extra base hits, so it's not like he's going to be slappy. The guy draws some walks. He's getting right around 10 hit by pitches every year, so he gets plunked now and then. I know he doesn't steal often, but in general, the A's. The A's aren't really good at that. But Kotsay's working on it, and we'll see about stealing again in a bit. We'll be talking more about that. It makes more sense, at least to me, putting a guy like McNeil at leadoff, high batting average, and one thing I really like, gets a lot of pitches. And that's better than the one and out, 2 and out, that kind of thing. He does get into the 5 and 6 count. I like him leading off versus a guy like Kurtz, where in Kurtz's first at bat, he doesn't have the opportunity to knock in any base runners. And I literally hope Kotsay, I pray Kotsay will put Kurtz in a 2 or 3 hole. Where would you guys do? I would say 2-3 hole, because he does have a fairly high batting average. 290's really good for a power hitter. Who do you guys see leading batting leadoff? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and we'll move on. We kept up the streak Tuesday with 11-7 wasting of the White Sox. Starter Jeffrey Springs did have his control issues, but let's face it, it's everyone. It's everybody. 29 first inning pitches. He had a sequence that went like this: full count strikeout, cool. Full count walk, 2-0 single, 4-pitch walk, and a double. And I'm yelling. Don't get to see the real game, but have to StatCast that. Can't wait till the season starts. But you figure you're going to see a mound visit, right? No. There are times, and it's my pet peeve with Kotsay. Sometimes I think he's like on house arrest in the dugout and can't leave without his ankle monitor going off. You know what I'm saying? That said, I will give the man his props when I see it. He went to the mound when he should have. It was after the 4-pitch walk. The double screamed at 104, so, really, what are you going to do? Springs went on. It was like he flipped a switch. He had a great 9-pitch second inning, but then he gave up a 3-run bomb in the 3rd. So, kind of a little bipolar. We'll talk about another bipolar guy here coming up. I watched the number of pitches our hitters take every inning and analyze less than 10 pitches is a horrible inning if you're a team at bat. But if you're pitching, it's a fantastic inning. And I'm looking at mostly relievers who make the squad, or who are likely to make the squad, I should say. Mike Kelly, he gave up 2 singles in the 4th, but the contact was really, really weak. 69, 91, 83, 87. He struck out the final batter. Not bad, not bad. Mark Leiter Jr., he had a walk and an RBI single in the 5th, but it was the walk I noticed. All 4 balls weren't anywhere close to the strike zone. And it wasn't just one area. He was outside up, out, in, and down, literally all over. I was a little worried he couldn't find it. Now, for the brutal part of spring training, Joey Estes. He pitched 2 2/3, 2-hit scoreless ball. He was sent to AAA afterwards. I would feel bad for him, but I kind of got a grudge. I really do. I blew $450 for 3 seats to the home opener in West Sac, and I basically watched him throw batting practice. It was horrible. It was just whole game. Horrible. Couldn't even get comfortable, and we were down like 4-0. Anyway, the White Sox had, on 3 occasions, they drew a walk and then promptly stole second base. 2 of the 3 scored, and it got me thinking about a habit I noticed last season from Shea Langeliers. And he was a DH in this game, so he had nothing to do with there were 3 stolen bases. He had nothing to do with it. There's a consensus with Shea. We all love the bat. That goes without saying. But he has to get better at throwing out base runners. I'm going to be serious for a sec. He tends to give them up in bunches. It's like 2-1. Like, you could go through a 3-game series, and he might have 5 stolen bases in 6 attempts, or 6 in 7 attempts, something like that. He has to get better. He, of the 97 attempts he had last year, he only nailed 18. So that's 157, and he can't do that. And we're already seeing that, and you're going to hear it in the next, few breakdowns of the next couple of games. What happened? That's going to become a problem. That is a problem. But hey, let's be real about Shea. The man is nice. He homered in this game, and he did show why. And this is something else we got to look out for. He needs to be a DH when he isn't behind the dish. He needs to be a DH because he had an absolutely monster week. Brett Rooker, he powered up. He had a double, a bomb, 3 RBIs. And I like seeing early power from Rooker because Rooker can get streaky as well. And to see him already starting in hot, I like that. I really do. Kurtz, he had a solo bomb. He had 2 walks, batting leadoff. So, again, I don't worry about the average. He has 9 walks in spring training, right? 2 things. When McNeil, I'm going to keep talking about this. When McNeil batted leadoff and shredded, I hope Kurtz, that leadoff would go away. But, he batted 3 times leadoff this week, Mr. Kurtz. And it seems like that's likely what Kotsay is going to do. He's going to go that route for sure. That's my opinion because he did that a lot at the end of last year. Secondly, during the winning streak, no matter who led off, they went off, man. I think there was a 5-for-5 and a 4-for-6 day or something along those lines. But during that 5-game winning streak, they batted like 600. Amazing. So, kind of ruins my idea of wanting just, one guy, McNeil versus Kurtz, but because they're all shredding. But I really still I'm gonna pound into the brain. Kurtz, please, you got to be in that 2 or 3 hole. You got to. Control issues by starters didn't stop our bats, as we pounded again, 13-3 over the Diamondbacks, and that was the squad's 5th in a row. We had a 5-game winning streak. Luis Morales, he won his 2nd start, going 4 2/3 with a solo home run as the only run scored. That's a nice outing, right? You think? I looked a little deeper. He did have some issues at the beginning of the innings, just like Perkins and Springs. He had 5 2-0 counts, 2 3-0s, and a 4-pitch walk. So What impressed me, though, in the third, he allowed 3 straight singles. Just boom, 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 load the bases. Lots of foot traffic as usual, which like his last outing, lots of foot traffic. Did he tank? No. He struck out the next 2 batters to end the inning. So we need to watch him getting behind early in the count. But I love the fire in the guy. I love the fire in the guy. He's young. And he's already, learning, wow, I got bases loaded. And I'm going to strike out the next couple guys and just end this. That's awesome. Excuse me. Been sick lately. I'm sorry, buddy. It's my dog. This game went how we want to see our relievers take over games. This is how it rolled. Justin Sterner, 10-pitch 6th. Hogan Harris, 11-pitch 7th. Nick Anderson, 14-pitch 8th. Like, that's a dream, right? Bang them out, man. Bang them out. 4 pitches each and done. Beautiful. Only a first pitch down the middle home run blemished Nick Hernandez's 12-pitch 9th. So, relievers faced 1 above the minimum, retiring 13 to 14 hitters with 6 strikeouts, allowing our bats to do our thing, right? Can't believe Muncie had his 3rd error, though. What are we going to do with this dude? Pure beast mode, man. Pure beast mode. My favorite for the third base job. You got to give it to this guy. You really do. It's so hard because some of these guys are batting 500, 400, that kind of thing, all vying for a third base job, But I got to believe Muncie's the guy, right? He went 3 for 3. He had 4 runs, single, double, walk, home run, sold some popcorn parts, car. He did it all, man. He did it all. And I'll take an occasional error for a batter, that has days like that. Even if he goes, 1 for 5 the next day, you get a guy who does that, every 4th game. Fantastic, man. That's outstanding. We'll take that occasional error. Shea had a home run. Surprise. 2nd game in a row. Soderstrom, he had another one of those double home run, 3 RBI days. He keeps doing that. I like that. He's going to be a big RBI guy, I think. But I did have an odd observation. Henry Bolt has ended an inning 4 times in 7 plate appearances over the last couple of games, leading through the midweek, right? I was just like, that's odd. Why is he always the 3rd out? And I feel like Henry Bolt's having a great spring, right? Great spring training. So I feel like we should watch this because Kotsay is giving him every opportunity to earn a spot. And we want to be confident this guy isn't going to be the end of every rally, right? Rally after rally, here 2 outs. Come on, man. This is what we need to know. The streak ended the next day. They lost 7-6 to the Rangers. But looking at the lineup, only McNeil in the lineup has a guaranteed spot. We know he's going to be playing. To me, and it's probably a bad way of saying it, but it's not a serious lineup to try to win a game. You know what I mean? Like, because you want your Kurtz and your Soderstrom and your Shea and your Rooker, Wilson, that kind of thing. And, hopefully Muncie, I do believe people getting optioned in the last few days got into some of these guys' minds at the beginning of this. I'm not going to. Well, I guess I am saying not serious lineup. We'll just say youngsters. Okay, we'll throw youngsters there. 16 of the first 19 batters swung at the first pitch. Started at 0-1 with lots of swing out of zone. Some of that was lighter. The other lighter, they're lighter, and it's hard to look at a computer and watch the computer showing you the strike zone and get a feel for somebody as being filthy. But he always seemed to strike out of the zone, swing and miss, and it was just outside of the zone, and it just seemed like the guy was being filthy. First 5 innings were like that. A's batters saw very few pitches, 13, 10, 12, 11. 2 solo home runs by Muncie and Bolt was all the A's could muster through 5, and they had 6 strikeouts. 9 first pitch outs in this game. 4 2-pitch outs. That's too much. That's okay. Be aggressive, but come on. There's something to be said about higher pitch counts create runs, right? They changed their approach in the sixth, and you see the results. Sixth inning, 22 pitches, 2 runs. Seventh inning, 30 pitches, 1 run. Eighth inning, 12 pitches, 1 run. Ninth inning, 25 pitches, and we left 2 base runners. In fact, starting in the sixth, the A's left 8. The win was there, but for our pitching, basically. We're going to probably see 10 games that we should have won, and then the pitching puts an end to it. You get that feeling it's going to be kind of like last year. Who knows? But and we hope for the best. But Max Muncie, he had the home run to go 2 for 3 with 2 runs to have 6 runs in 2 games. Remember, he had the 4-run 3 for 3 yesterday in the previous game. He's on fire. I think, barring a collapse, will be our third baseman. Now, the other bipolar, JT Ginn. He had a 10-pitch first and 2 outs in the second, totally rolling. And then he went on the stretch. Full count single with a pitch right down the middle. 4-pitch walk. Good mound visit by Kotsay. But the next batter hits an RBI double with another pitch right down Main Street. And that's it for and I want the mound visits, dude. I do. But it's really odd. But that's the second time up to Wednesday that a mound visit resulted in an RBI double. That's kind of okay. When we do go out to the mound, we're going to give up a double. Fantastic. He was pulled. Some guy, I'll be honest with you, some guy I never heard of. He gave up. I said that must sound horrible. Somebody I never heard of gave up a 3-run jack. Amazingly, Kotsay re-entered Ginn in the third, and then he gives up a single and a walk, and then he bipolar some. He sets down the next 11 batters. We love that Ginn. I love that Ginn. Not to be outdone, he had full count walks 2 before the day is over. He finished 4 2/3, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. That is a winnable game. That's one of those games. I'm telling you, we're going to have these games this season. It's going to be one of those games that during the regular season, you're going to point out and go, that should have been a W, should have been a win. We went 1-1 Friday. This was a really good day, though. This is like the day I really, really enjoyed. We went 1-1 in the split squad. We had a 13-4 win over the Brewers and a 13-9 loss to the Padres. Okay, so looking at the 2 lineups as a fan, not as somebody that's got to write an article for a company or do a podcast. Just as a fan, I assume the lineup card with the 7 probable opening day starters, regular lineup card, is going to be on the winning side of the 1-1 day, right? No. Just like I said, them youngsters. It was Tommy White, Kobe Thomas, Michael Stefanic lineup. Guaranteed us a 500 week this week. Tommy White went off. 3 for 5. 3-run triple. Grand slam. 7 RBIs. 7 RBIs. Kobe Thomas, he's hitting the leather off the ball. 2 for 3 with a home run. 117 off the bat. I know there's probably somebody in the 120s or something. I don't know. 117 is one of the bigger ones I've seen this season. So crazy hard. Even his single was over 106. So Kobe Thomas is hitting the leather off the ball, but we're not going to see this guy. Very long. Michael Stefanic. All right. Michael Stefanic went 3 for 5 with a home run, but he had a triple too. So what are we talking about here? The guy's got some speed too. The guy batted nearly 500, and he's fighting for just one of those few spots on the opening day roster. Most in this lineup are probably AAA players in under 2 weeks, right? We all know that. But they're giving us a preview. When we reach Vegas, I'm going to keep saying that. When we reach Vegas, right? We're going to be stoked. All these guys are batting 400 and 500 or having multiple home run days or that kind of thing. Catcher Chad Wallach, he had a 2-run shot. And what I find kind of cool about that is I believe that is the seventh home run by a catcher this year. So we got no loss when Shea is behind the dish or is injured. We have to bring in Wins or someone else. All these guys hit bombs. So I don't think we're going to lose the power that we're expecting out of Shea. We're hoping 30 bombs out of Shea every year. That would be fantastic, but it all boils down to, is the guy going to stay healthy, or is he going to get injured, that kind of thing. I do got to point out that in this game, Chad Marlowe stole our 5th base in 7 attempts. Kotsay, right? He's trying to be versatile, hopefully, right? Ace pitching only gave up 4 runs at this point. That's just the second time Ace pitching held opponents under 7 runs this inning. 7 runs this week. So what if no one stands out for the 5th starter? And I was thinking about that this game. Who do you guys think is the front runner for the last starting job in the rotation? Some people think it's already been decided who's the number 5. I'm not sure. I've changed my mind twice. So you guys tell me what you think. Leave them in the comments. Gage Jump. What do we do if we have another start from this guy like this? He's young. You're not even supposed to be here, What do you have, man? 3 innings. He scatters 4 hits. He's got 3 Ks. The guy's given up just 1 earned run in 8 2/3. We're going to, send that back to the minors, That's not very good, right? Reliever, Jeff Hartley, has likely pitched his way back to the minors. In the 9th of this game, he hits a guy. He gives up a single and a double. Had 2-0 counts to the last 3 batters, 1-3-0. He has a 27 March ERA. I think that's pretty much sealed his fate, in my opinion. In game 2 of the day, 13-9 loss to the Padres. Had big boy lineup, in my opinion. To be honest, hitters did their job, though. Pitching didn't. So, what else is new, right? They banged up 4 home runs. Our offense banged up 4 home runs, just like the other game. So 8 home runs. 8 home runs on a Friday. Not bad. 12 hits, drew 6 walks. So not only we got power and everybody's banging out singles and doubles, we're drawing walks too, 6 walks. One thing I noticed Friday, though, speed off the bat. Soderstrom, 2-run homer, 111 off the bat, 111.4 to be exact. Muncie, 2 for 4 with a double, right? You think I'm thinking about the double, how hard he hit that. No, single. 110.7 off the bat as a single. Henry Bolt, 110 plus. Brayson Guedes, 450 feet home run. Kurtz launched. What Kurtz launches? Missiles. Back-to-back-to-back home runs. We lead all of MLB in home runs, 46 bombs this spring. We are that team. We are. Our likely number 3 starter, Aaron Savali, had another poor outing. That kind of worries me, man. We paid that guy. He had one of the harder hitting sequences of 4 hitters probably I've seen all spring, because unfortunately we have to watch the games right now this way. So you get a lot of metrics and stuff involved. And this was one of the harder sequences I've ever seen. Double, 107.2. Next one, home run, 104. Next one, double, 106.2. Next one, triple, 101.7. And he was pulled after only getting 2 outs in the first. He gave up back-to-back bombs in the second. So you thought all these high, 101, 104, 106, 107, that was bad. No, he gives up back-to-back bombs in the second inning. He settled down to retire 8 of the next 10 batters, and he left after 4 innings. But he gave up 6 earned runs. And let's face it, most of these starters are coming in for four innings or so, and they're giving up 6 earned runs. When the regular season comes around, and we're expecting 5-6 innings out of these guys. Let's be realistic. A's pitchers do not usually go late into the seventh or the early eighth, right? So, you got to think about these things. Um, the reliever, Nick Hernandez, he imploded going walk, single, walk to start the eighth. And you know me, mound visits, what would I have done? It's the eighth. You have a 2-run lead, and this man has just done walk, single, walk, so now it's bases loaded. And you've got a 2-run lead, and this is a young kid, and he don't got no outs. So maybe a mound visit, dude. Go out there. You haven't used any yet. Go. Be free. No. He didn't. And so what happened? He walked in the next guy. So he walked in a run. And by the end, all 4 of those people, all of them scored. But, on the day, outstanding day at the plate, A's had base runners in 15 of 18 innings throughout the day. And 2 or more base runners in half the innings. So that's a lead. That means we've got foot traffic all day long. So eventually, even if you're going to get them 1 or 2 runs at a time, you do that 4 times in a game, you're going to pop out 10 runs a game. And let's face it, we have a lot of solo home runs, but we're popping out 10 runs a game right now. We're doing really well. But to show we are as a team, 14 of 18 innings, A's pitchers have foot traffic, right? Show who we are as a team. 14 of 18 innings, A's pitchers had foot traffic. And a terrible 2 or more base runners in 10 of 18 innings. So over half. It's horrible. That's what we got. But so we got kind of like the flip side in that one, right? So going into the weekend, Saturday's game. This is my dream game. Everybody, this is the one I've been wanting to talk to you about. Dream game scenario. I have to start with the pitching staff. I know, right? Usually I'm whiner, pissed off, yelling, throwing my remote, whatever. Okay, maybe not throwing my remote, but yeah, you see what I'm saying. 12-1 destruction of the Kansas City Royals. 2-hit pitching by our entire squad. And our bats, obviously 12-1. We had another home run barrage at the plate. Jacob Lopez, he started the game with a walk. And I'm going, no, not again, because if you go back through the innings and you look, we always seem to let the first guy you see on the base, no matter how you do it, a walk, a single, a double, home run, whatever, hit by pitch, error, whatever. For some reason, they always end up getting on. The first guy gets on. But after Jacob started the game with a walk, he didn't look back. He retired the next 12 guys, and 7 were on strikeouts. 5 were swinging. So that means nobody could catch his stuff. He was ahead in the count all game. He had 6 0-2 counts and 2 1-2 counts. He struck out both 2-0 counts he had. So in my opinion, this was the best start of the year. He controlled the entire game, his entire appearance. And yeah, in my opinion, strongest outing. Scott Barlow, solid relief appearance. He went 1 2/3 of hitless ball. He had 4 strikeouts. Okay. He did have full count to 4 of his 6 batters. And okay, I'm going to be honest. If you're relying on a 78 mile per hour curve that you're having a little bit of issue controlling, and a 90 mile per hour fastball, that makes me nervous. I'm going to be honest. That makes me nervous. But like Lopez did before him, he settled in, and after a first pitch walk, done. Good outing. A's pitching. Yes, I'm about to say this. 13 strikeouts as a staff. Very uncharacteristic of our team right now. For the first time in over 2 weeks, this is a strange stat. For the first time in over 2 weeks, the staff pitched more innings without base runners than innings with base runners. Isn't that crazy? It should be like that all the time. 5 of 9, so barely 1 inning difference. But hey, it's in a better direction than, base runners in 8 of 9 or 7 of 9 innings, right? Also, as a staff, they had 13 batters in an 0-2 hole to start an at bat. Love this game. A's hitters scored 12 runs. They had 15 hits. It seemed like we had 15 hits like 5 times in 8 games, something like that. We showed big power again, 4 doubles, another 4 home runs. So 8 home runs yesterday, 4 today. Quick peek, 3 tomorrow. Showed patience, too. They had 5 walks. 8 different A's players had an RBI. So again, it wasn't just the big boys. Ding, 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 ding. Lots of these guys that are going to be fighting for a spot, Shea Langeliers, 3 solo home runs in his first 3 at-bats. It was only the 4th. Okay? I'm going to say it. I get he's a catcher, but an opportunity for a 4 home run game, that doesn't happen very often. How often do we see that a year? Where there's an extra couple of at-bats, not just one. He wasn't going to try for his 4th, with 2 outs in the 8th, right? No. This was in the 4th, I think, was when he had his 3rd home run. I get he's a catcher, but that doesn't happen very often. And as a fan, that was so irritating. Everyone. Oh. Telling you. Yeah. Kotsay, please give the man at least one of the at-bats. It looked like at least 2 solid at-bats left that he could have had. I get pulling him, but give him at least one chance at 4. And they could sit there and talk about that all year, Like, come on, Kotsay. Come on, man. If we're talking spring training, what is it? Practice? Come on. Give something to the fans. Okay, maybe it's just me. I don't know. Everybody's talking about Kurt's average, though, this spring, because he's batting under 200. I think it's a 179. Okay? He started 0-2 in his first 3 at-bats. He did hit his 3rd home run. And to date, he has 9 walks. I keep saying it, so he's fine. He has been kind of stuck at 9 walks for a minute. I might. Okay. He has 9 walks, which is a lot of walks, okay? But, yeah, he's been stuck at 9 walks for a minute. So, okay, we're going to keep an eye on both of those, all right? So, we'll move on. Leo Vries. Okay, we got to talk about him, right? He went 2 for 2 with a double, 2 runs, 2 RBIs. Again, I told you he's batting, I think it was 409. He's hit safely in 10 of 11 games in March. 10 of 11 games. Maybe put him at leadoff, right? Right? He's running steal second, steal third. Made me think of Ricky, and I will never, ever say that Ricky is dead. You guys all know me. And, some of you don't, but yeah, Ricky will live forever, right? I don't know. I think maybe Leo would be kind of nice sitting there at the top of the order, Kotsay's got to figure it out. He's got to figure out which guys have to make that roster. And, Tommy White and Stefanic and Ibanez and Leo. You got, somebody's not going to be happy. Somebody's going to be sitting at AAA going, but I batted 580, and that's going to be a shame. We're going to see all these guys over the course of the year, because some guys are going to face it over the course of the year. Somebody's going to suck. Everybody's young. So everybody's going to have a bad, knock them down for a minute, that kind of thing. But, anyway, we batted around in the 8th. That was the 7th time over the course of the week that the A's sent 8 guys to the plate. 7th time. That's showing you why we're 10 runs a game. And like I was saying, Kotsay, he has stolen base attempts. He's trending more, right? He went 1 for 2 in this game. He finished 7 for 9 in the week. We have nearly doubled our entire spring stolen base totals in 7 days, which is great. I mean, maybe he's finally turned the corner, again, fingers crossed. Yeah, we got to go to the end here. Last game. The amazing week of baseball finished up for the A's. It was disappointing, yes. 12-6 loss to the Indians. Yeah, I said Indians. Guardians is a dumb name. I'm sorry. There might be the name Guardians might be a good reason. Look, I'm Lakota, right? I'm one generation off the res. My dad was raised there, right? So if I have no problems with the name Indians, nobody should, right? Ugh. All right. The Guardians. Ugh. We had 12-6 loss to the Guardians. I'm gonna say it. We may have the worst pitching staff in baseball. We may right now. You all heard the pitching. Let's break down. It was supposed to be Jack Perkins, but it ended up being, I'm going to massacre this, Wei-En Lin. He allowed 8 of 11 batters to reach second base. He gave up 6 earned runs, and he's another Kotsay pitcher with an ERA that's north of 21. He's heading to the minors. I guess he wanted to see him start. It's weird because last night and into this morning, Jack Perkins was the scheduled and written in starter, but he ended up there. And he was just as shaky as Monday's start. Remember, we were talking about him getting behind a lot in the count. That was one of our trends. He had a ton of them. I think it was 6 or something like that, where he was behind last week a ton. But he didn't have that issue today. I'm going to say it. All 4 trips for Mr. Kotsay. All 4 trips, all 4 mound visits were solid. They were all done when most of us are expecting one, after 4 pitch walks and too many people on base and no out. Kotsay, I got to give him his due. He's trending, and I told you, even from the beginning of this podcast, he's changed from somebody you can't get him out to the mound to, wow, he's starting to go out when he should. It's not normally a strong suit, so it's awesome to see. His pitching allowed foot traffic in 7 of 8 innings, like they always do. More than 2 runners, 6 of the innings. That's why you're going to get 12 runs, right? We finished, though, I guess it's on a good note. We finished with 3 more bombs. Colby Thomas launched another one, 110 off the bat. Man, that guy has strong bat, ball off the bat speed. Chad Marlowe, he hit his second one of the week. And Leo loves Sunday, right? He hit another one. He hit 2. Remember, against the Dodgers last Sunday. So he's got 3 in 2 weeks. Let's face it, man. He's really exciting, isn't he? We had foot traffic. I think 7 different innings. There were 6 runs. I mean, come on, guys. We should expect to win with 6 runs. But like I said, I was going to point out what today's game and this week shows me. This is what I got out of today's game. Was kind of a microcosm of the way the week was. Our offense will be better than our top 5 offense last season. Goes without saying. 26 home runs. We're batting like 300 as a team. Isn't that insane? I think we lead in runs and RBIs and home runs and hits, and I think we're like 2nd or 3rd in average. I mean, we're leading in a lot of offensive categories. So my first thought is our offense will be better than our top 5 offensive last year. Our pitching staff will likely have us throwing my remote and yelling at inanimate objects pretty much through September. We can pray, but let's face it, we shored up our offense, which was smart. Man, we gotta spend some money on some arms. We really do. It's bats over arms. That's pretty much all I've got today. Give me your thoughts on who should bat leadoff and who should get a bench spot. There's only a few. Let me know in the comments. Peace.